Welcome back to Role Player Adventures. This is Galpax's Secret. We're doing Mission 1, or Adventure 1, Festival of Heroes. We've just released the werewolf and her mom into the wild, and that didn't please the Queen's favor too much. So there we go. Alright, let's continue on. From there, we're still at the Temple of Shintal, so let's consult the remainder of the text where we left off last time. Alright, so we have now completed the quest virtually. It says from now on, when a choice indicator gives you the opportunity to move to another location, you may instead turn to the end. But I think we have a couple more things we can do. We still have a sweet roll, we still have some poison, we still haven't used them at the temple. So let's figure out here. Otherwise, continue reading. Oh, if you have newcomer, we don't have newcomer, so we'll continue reading. Now that the chamber is empty, you take time to study your surroundings. An enormous bronze idol of Shintal towers over you. The three-headed god of death holds an enormous golden bowl in his hands, an altar filled with the dried blood and rotting bone. A message has been covered beneath him. To enter, present your sacrifice. Rats sniff at the altar, but frightened by your torches, scurry back into the dark. Now, we can use an item here. Like I said, we have the sweet roll, we have poison. We can combine them. We can use one or the other, or we can rest. Just not use an item and rest and then move to another location. We can just stay here. I think because we are so in need of a rest, I think we are going to take the rest action. So we're not going to use an item, we're just going to rest after our big fight with the werewolf. So let's go ahead and do a rest action here. Alright, I'm not going to go over the whole rest thing, because we'll do it pretty quickly here. I am only going to spend one experience here to rest. That means we're just going to be grabbing one die per our characters. So we'll grab the green one for our hunter, and we'll grab the red one for our warrior. And we're going to get back, we're going to be able to take out of our fatigue box that much fatigue for each one. And we get +1 for the green player, our hunter. So we're going to be removing 3 from our warrior and 4 from our hunter. So let's go ahead and do that. Of course, there's a lot more going on than just that. So we're going to remove 3 from our warrior. Still 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 in there, but up to 18 would knock us out. Spent cards go back to our hand. We would flip over this if it was used, but it wasn't. And we would fill up all of the rows now back again for our character. So there's 3 in strength. We have 1 in dex. We have 1 in wisdom. I'll get these little cubes out of the tray here. 1 in charisma and 2 right here. Alright, that's a rest action for this character. And I can't forget we have to put the rest up on our player board as well. So let's not forget we do need to put our rest in here. This is only our second rest of the adventure, so it's not going to cost us a permanent card. If we got to the 4th rest, that would cost us. One player would have to remove a card from the game back to the play box from their hand. But we don't have to do that because this is only a second time resting. Alright, let's go ahead and do our hunter. And our hunter gets the bonus 1, so he gets to take out 4. So 3 and 1 is 4. Still leaving quite a bit of fatigue in there. This is going to go back to our player mat. The bonus play card goes back. All of our spent cards go back to our hand. We would flip over this, of course. And we're going to be filling up all of the rows here. I grab a bunch of these little tokens here, little cubes. And we're going to fill up our rows. So we have 1 for strength, 2 for dex. We have 2 for con. We have 2 for intelligence now, because we got a boost. 1 for wisdom, 1 for charisma. And we are good to go. Alright, let's continue on in the book. And the next thing in the book was move to another location. We're not going to move to another location. We're going to stay at the temple. So we've had a rest. And now we're going back to the very beginning. We're going to look at section D, the Temple of Shintal. And the reason I only wanted to use 1 XP for resting is because I want to save it for leveling up our characters. And we don't have much left. We're basically at the end, but I want to try a couple of things. If there's no XP at this location, there isn't, go to D1. So right off the bat, we just pop to D1. Alright, D1 says, rats scatter back into the shadows as your torchlight fills the chamber. Ahead of you, an enormous bronze idol of Shintal towers over the room. He holds a golden bowl, an altar filled with dried blood and rotting bone. A message has been carved beneath him. To enter, present your sacrifice. Ooh. Use an item. It doesn't cost anything for us to use our sweet roll, 136. So let's go to D136. We'll put a bit of the sweet roll in the bowl and see what happens. Alright, D136. You tear off a chunk of the sweet roll and place it on the altar. A dozen rats immediately converge upon it, gobbling it up in this small offering. Then, just as quickly, they scurry back into the shadows, leaving the altar empty. You stare up at Shintal's visage, waiting for something to happen, but the god of death seems unimpressed by your offering. Use another item. Well, let's go ahead and use the poison. Let's try putting some poison in the bowl. Why not? Because now this is going to cost us 1 fatigue each to do. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to go to D137 and see if maybe putting some poison in there is going to do anything for us. Alright, so to go ahead and use the poison, we need to add a fatigue. We're not in. Oh, I should mention, to use items, you cannot get to your health number or beyond to use an item. You're not allowed to use it. But we're at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 for our hunter. We're in good shape. We need to also do 1 for our warrior. We also need to add 1 into here for our warrior. And she's got 18 health. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Yeah, we're good to go. Alright, let's see what it says when we put the poison in the bowl. Alright, we're trying the poison. It says you pour a few drops of poison on the altar. A rat jumps up and sniffs at it, but seems thoroughly disinterested. If there were any way to disguise the scent and taste of the poison, the rats might be less discerning. Hint, hint, hint. You glance up at Shintal, the god of death. So far, he seems unimpressed with your sacrifice. Use another item. Okay. The rats might be enticed by something else. We have a sweet roll. We're going to combine the 2 items. It's 136 and 137. So we're going to look for an entry that is actually D136.137. If it exists, then we can combine the sweet roll and the poison together. We'll try again, but that is going to cost us another stamina. Remember, the sweet roll costs 0. The poison does cost 1 to use, so we're going to have to increase or put another stamina in our fatigue for both characters, but we have the room to do it. Yep, costing us a little bit more fatigue, but we have fatigue to spare. 13 went to 16. Alright, our warrior needs to add 1 as well. Yes, our warrior needs to do a little fatigue as well. We're poisoning up the sweet roll, or some of the sweet roll. There we go. So we're still at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yeah, we've got 4 stamina left to go. Let's hope it doesn't knock us out, though. Alright, let's take a look in the book under D136.137, if it exists. Alright, the entry exists. We're go ahead and use the sweet roll and the poison. It says you tear off a hunk of the sweet roll and pour a few drops of poison onto it. Then, you set it on the altar in front of Shintal's statue. Rats emerge from the shadows, excitedly converging on the sweet treat. The poison is quick and painless. After a few moments of frantic feasting, the rats seem to simply drift off into an eternal sleep. Yeah, we killed them. It says, in response to your sacrifice, Shintal's eyes light up, glowing red. Hidden gears crank in the shadows, and a section of the wall pops open, revealing a secret staircase. Cool! It says, continue, D18. Alright, let's have a read. D18. Beneath the temple, you discover a secret room. It is long rumored that the Shintal High Priests have given sanctuary to the Order of Assassins. Here you appear to have found proof of this accusation. A number of tiny scrolls has been tucked into the niches in the stone wall. Each bear a name that has been crossed out. You surmise that these are the names of those who have already fallen victim to the assassin's blade. Among these scrolls, you discover a sketch of a lantern. Someone has also scribbled a few notes. Lantern of Wayward Soul. Gullpax's workshop. Secure at all costs. Interesting. You're uncertain why the Order of Assassins would be interested in a simple lantern, much less why they would go through the trouble of stealing it from Gullpax. The gnomish inventor is said to wield strange and dangerous magic. You wouldn't want to get on her bad side. Okay, we have to keep that in mind. The walls are lined with a small arsenal of weapons. Generally, it's a bad idea to steal from assassins, but a shiny new glass dagger catches your eye. Ooh. Reveal rare card number 8. Let me get that out. Alright, so squirreled away, we find the glass dagger. Ooh, it's black dye. You could either flip the black die, you can re-roll the black die, or you can add plus or minus to the black die, but it is one of these spent cards. But anyway, we find, oh, that is so cool. Now we can use an item. Well, we've used everything we can use, or we can rest, or we can move to a new location. I don't think there's anything else we can do. We've used all of our items. We have found the glass dagger. Who are we going to give the glass dagger to? Oh man. And we get to keep rare items from game to game as well. Oh, excited about this. I'm going to have to think here. Who wants the glass dagger? You know who has the most decks? That's our hunter. Our hunter is going to get the glass dagger into his hand. All right, and yeah. So we are just, when it says move to another location, we can go to the end. We are going to go now to the end. All right, the end. It says, Imbri, the immortal knight, tracks you down on horseback, though her steed has recovered from his injuries. It appears transformed by the werewolf attack. His eyes shimmer red, and black hair sprouts from its otherwise silver mane. Wow. Okay, that's bizarre. If you have the keyword newcomer, we don't. Go to end 1. Otherwise, we go to end 2. All right, off we go to end 2. All right, end 2. The immortal knight gives you a discerning look. Of all the groups in the competition, yours was the one to track the beast to its lair. That took cunning. You've earned a place in the Heroes Guild, but I have questions before we proceed. Imbri listens carefully as you recount the details of the day's events. Okay. If you have the keyword Polgor, yes we do, or newcomer, reveal card 1, title card 183. All right, let's find title 183. Let me fish through the deck here. Let's take a couple minutes, of course. There it is, 183. All right, we have Polgor's Comrade. You teamed up with Polgor the Halfling by tracking down the werewolf. You helped him earn his spot in the Heroes Guild. All right, well, that's another title card for us. And there we go. So where do we go from here? Is that it? Reveal title card 183. Maybe that's just the end of it, or is there a conclusion? Let me double check the book here and figure out what's going on. But wait, there's more. Yes, it says, which titles did you earn? Read each section below that matches a title card you have. Well, we do have the Werewolf Defender. We got that title. We got 3 titles during this adventure. We got Werewolf Defender, Awuk's Respect, and Polgor's Comrade. All right, let's read Werewolf Defender. When Imbri hears your story, she frowns. You just let him escape? I suppose that was an act of mercy, but now he is free to infect others. While your intentions may have been good, you made the wrong choice. I admire your compassion, but I will find the werewolf and put an end to its violence. Oh dear. Well, at least we didn't lose any more of the Queen's favor, but we kind of cheesed off Imbri. All right, let's take a look. We've got 2 more title cards to read. All right, some more reading. We have both of these, Polgor's Comrade and Awuk's Respect, so I'm just going to read through this here. Polgor's Comrade. It says, the immortal knight turns to Polgor and smiles grimly. Welcome to the guild. Your halfling companions can scarcely believe it. At first, it seems he might hug the immortal knight, but she offers him a warning look that freezes him in his tracks. Instead, he takes her hand, shaking it vigorously. You won't regret this, he insists. I regret it already, she admits. Then she smiles and shakes her head. It's good to have such eager recruits, she admits. I fear there are dark times ahead. We should seek joy in whatever moments we can. The halfling turns to you. This is where we part ways, I'm afraid, he says. I must return to Jolev. My family will be eager to hear what has happened. When we next meet, it will be as comrades in arms, fellow members of the guild. With that, he takes his leave. Okay, there we go. And Awuk's Respect. When you tell the immortal knight about your encounter with Awuk, her expression hardens. We've long suspected that the Gnoll is a spy for the Dragul. Oh dear. You've heard rumors of Dragul raiders attacking the Queen's caravans and cartographers. They claim to fight for freedom, but their tactics will likely lead Ulos into war. Oh my goodness. All right, and now we go over to the conclusion. Alright, conclusion. You join the guild at a precarious time, explains the Immortal Knight. Tensions are rising between the Queen's loyalists and the Dragool. The guild has been careful not to choose sides in this conflict so far. Alrighty, it says if your Queen's favor is higher than your Dragool favor. No, it's not. Otherwise, we go to conclusion 2. Alright, conclusion 2. The Queen offered every race a seat on her royal council, Imbri informs you, but many have refused her and joined together as the Dragool. I can see why you find them sympathetic. Their desire for freedom may be admirable, but the Dragool have sworn violence and chaos at every turn. Even after Queen Gimnax offered them a pathway to peace, they are clever and ruthless. Find Cunning in the trait deck and add it to any player's hand. If that card is not available, reveal one random trait and add it instead. Oh, cool. So we get another card. Let me fish out Cunning. And after I fish out Cunning, then we're going to be going on to Conclusion -3. Alright, we're on to Conclusion 3. There's a whole pile of steps here, so we're just going to do them one at a time. It says, the Immortal Knight holds a letter in her hand. The city of Sabak has requested aid from the Heroes Guild, she says, and I'm sending you to answer their summons. Gulpax the Crafter has been experimenting on the undead, and the Crypt Keeper refuses to cleanse the catacombs of zombies. Oh dear, it will be your first task for the guild to set these matters straight. She returns a letter to her saddlebag, but not before you spy the seal of Queen Gimnax. Imbri departs, leaving you a few coins to pay for your journey to Sabak. The undead hordes await. And we continue on, so we go down here. First thing up is gain 3 gold. Awesome, let's do it. We are never going to refuse gold, are we? Of course not. So we're going to get 3 more gold. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 8 gold now. Awesome. All right, let's get back to the conclusion. Alright, continuing on, it says erase all keywords. So over on our player mat, we get to erase all of the keywords. Alright, so we have Wounded and Polgar here. We're just going to wipe them off, and then we're going to go to the next step. Alright, continuing down the list, the next thing we do, return all stamina cubes on the rest track to the supply. We only had 2, I'll do that off screen. We remove that. Okay, on we go. Return all map cards and item cards to the discovery deck. So, item cards and map cards. Now, I believe Polgar is rare. Does he stay with us? He said he has to take his leave. We'll leave him for now, but we do have item cards. We've got the poison, and we have the sweet roll. We return those to the box. We return the map cards to the box that were put out on the map, so that's these 2 cards. So I'm going to return those to the box, and then we'll get to the next track. Alright, now I can't even remember if I showed you the Cunning card. We're going to give this to our Hunter. It's turning any color die into a black or a blue. Cool! So our Hunter now has that. Alright, next one. Return all cards in the active space of the party journal to their deck. That would be Polgar, because Polgar has left. So this is in our active spot. It was Polgar. He is going back to the deck. Alright, what do we got next? Return any cards left over in the market to their deck. We did have 2 cards left over in the market that we didn't buy, the Haggle and the Spiked. Those also go back to their decks, and then we'll come right back and take a look at the next point. There's quite a lot to do here at the end. Alright, the next one is return all bonus play tokens to the party journal. Oh, we already did that when we rested. Okay, well that would be done anyway. Mark the box on the campaign track that corresponds to the current adventure. All right, let's do that. All right, so I have wiped out the keywords. They're gone, and now we're going to mark an X here on our current adventure as I block the camera. So we put an X here. We are finished campaign adventure 1. All right, more to read. Alright, up next we have each player return all stamina cubes in your fatigue box to the supply. And that's why I didn't want to spend so much XP to rest. I'm just doing that off screen. So all of those tons of fatigue cubes are disappearing. Alright, up next we have each player return any materials on your possession card to the supply. Materials on your profession card to supply. No, nothing. Oh, what? Return any materials on your profession card to the supply. No! That means our bulwark, which had 4 cubes on it. all of those cubes, sadly, go back to the supply. So she'll have to build it up next time. Oh, well, that kind of bites. Each player return all cards in your spent pile to your discard. Okay, we've already done that. Each player, you may now advance your character and clean up the adventure and save your characters or continue to the next adventure. All right, now we get to advance our characters. So here's where we get to level up. Whew, this could be a long episode, but we get to level up now. We've got gold to spend. We have experience to spend, so let's get to that. All right, there's a whole bunch here for advancement. It says, prepare the market, shuffle each of the 5 market decks, armor, weapons, skills, traits, and scrolls, reveal the top card of each deck and place it face up. I will do that here in a minute. Visit the Adventurers Guild. Advancement and their XP costs are listed below. This is where we're getting pretty excited. We have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We have 12 experience. We can increase a character's health 1. So 1 XP if the current health is less than 25. Currently we have 16 for our human hunter, and we have 18 for our dwarf warrior. We might want to spend some in there to pump up their health. Party play limit would be the current play limit, which is 2, plus a bonus play, which is 1, is 3. So we could spend 8 XP to increase our play limit to 3 cards instead of just 2 each. I don't know. The other thing I like is increasing the mastery level. For every party increase of mastery level, which costs us 3 XP at the moment, we can then influence the, indicated by mastery track. So we increase party's mastery level 1, which is really cool. We get to actually add an extra stamina cube into one of our stats, like Constitution and Dexterity. To increase a party's mastery level, all players must spend the amount of XP indicated by the next unmarked box of the mastery track. The box is then marked. Each player in the party then increases 1 attribute score 1 point. Unless indicated by an adventure, players may not increase an attribute score beyond the current score limit. The current attribute score limit is indicated by the tier of the mastery track that the newly marked box is in. Alright, let me get the market set up. We're going to think about spending our XP to either increase our health and I think probably do some mastery as well. Alright, we're going to start with the mastery track. Now it costs 3 XP to increase one of our stats 1. So I'm going to spend 6 of our 12 XP, 1 for each. So what that means is we're going to mark that off because we end up marking this off. So we've done this box. And you can see here we have an attribute score limit of 4. Nobody's got 4 in anything, so it would mean you couldn't go to 5. But anyway, we don't have any danger of that. So let's increase 1 stat for our hunter and 1 stat for our warrior. Alright, I think for our hunter we're going to increase his strength from 1 to 2. So I think we're going to do that. And I think we remove all these cubes as well. They're not needed at the moment. Alright, so we're going to increase our hunter's strength attribute 1 to 2. Alright, and now he magically has a strength of 2. Alright, let's go increase one of the stats of our warrior. Alright, for our warrior, I think we're going to increase her dex from 1 to 2. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, her dex is now 2, so now she's got a strength 3, dex of 2, con of 2, no intelligence, 1 wisdom, 1 charisma. Alright, we still have some more stuff to do yet. And I think with our final 6 XP, we are going to increase the health of our human hunter. We're going to increase his health 4, so we're going to spend 4 XP for that. We're going to increase our warrior's health by 2. That is basically going to put both of them to 20 health. So I'll just do that off screen. They're both going to be at 20 health, and then we got to get the market set up. We got 8 gold to spend. Alright, so our market deck has 2 armor. Remember, we have the bulwark ability, our bodyguard, for our warrior, which allows us to draw 2 armors. So we have 2 armors, 1 scroll, 1 skill, 1 trait, 1 weapon. I'm liking this Exalted. This is turning any 2 or any 5 of any color into any color you want. So you can take any 2 and any 5, any 2 or any 5 and just make it whatever color you want. That's super powerful. Now the other thing is we have a chain tunic. Our warrior already has 2 chain items, but I think we're going to spend all 8 gold. Now this, if you were a Wrathborn, it'd be -2, but we have a dwarf and a human, so that doesn't help us. I think we're going to give our warrior that. We're going to spend all 8 gold. We're going to empty our bank, and we're going to give Exalted to our warrior. And I believe that will pretty much conclude our playthrough. So let me back the camera and we'll wrap it up. Alright, well that's going to wrap up Adventure 1, which was Festival of Heroes. So we've leveled up our characters, we bought some cards, we've got Pulgar's Comrade, A Wook's Respect, and Werewolf Defender as title cards. We are -2 Queen's Favor, -1 Gulpak's Favor, +1 Dragul Favor. We've got our Herbalist, our Human Herbalist, and our Dwarf Bodyguard. And we have done Mastery Track once. We've completed campaign track, campaign episode 1, Adventure 1. When we come back to this game, which I'm really liking, this is pretty I'm having quite a lot of fun with this. I know it's a lot of reading, a lot of text, but I think it's pretty cool. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, and likes. This was Gulpax's Secret, which is the expansion for Role Player Adventures. You need the base game to play this. It's a whole new adventure set 2,000 years in the past, before the original Role Player game. Very cool. I really like it. I think it's a pretty worthy game, dice manipulation game. And now, yeah, so we've leveled up. We've done everything we can do for Adventure 1. Up next, as voted on by the community, we'll be back to Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit from the Naboo perspective. I'm hoping to start that tomorrow. But don't quote me on that. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it. Like I said, I'm hoping to, but there could be some delays in there. I'm not sure. So thanks so much, everyone. Really enjoyed this playthrough. I think it's a really cool game. Very neat system. I love the module books. I love the choices you make. And of course, we've missed a bunch of things. We went down certain paths. So who knows? When we continue, we'll be getting into our second adventure, which is called Servants of Azima. Alright, thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next playthrough series. I have a correction here at the end of the episode. When I spent the XP for Mastery Track, I said it was 3 for each character. That's not true. It's just 3 XP, and then each character gets to increase a stat once. So I spent 6 XP, so they get to do it again. So we've increased our Mastery twice through 6 XP, and that means now that our Hunter and our Warrior can increase a stat, another stat by 1. So let's get doing that. And of course, I put the whole game away, so that's why everything's missing here, but I do have the character sheet for our Human Hunter. I think we are going to increase his Charisma to 2. So apologize my racing stuff out here. We're going to make his Charisma 2. All right. Perfect. And we will bring in our bodyguard, our Dwarven Warrior Bodyguard. You know what? She's all about the flexing. So we're going to take her strength here, and she's going to go to, she's had a 3 strength. She's going to go right up to, going to go up to 4, which is the maximum. If we look at the maximum here, attribute score limit 4. Well, she's maxed out strength until we go to the next set of mastery level. We take a look at that. Attribute score level 6 once we transition over here, once we get this XP in here. All right. Apologize for that. Caught it. I'm happy about it, so it means when we come back to these characters, they're pumped up even more. Thanks so much. Hope to see you next time in another complete playthrough series. It should be Queen's Gambit coming up next. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching along. Really appreciate it. It really helps with my channel. And I hope to see you in the next playthrough.